and welcome back to my channel. So this week I'm doing another installment of Sermons by Teens for Teens, and this week I'm covering the topic of reaching out to others. So I know a lot of people struggle with this in high school, me included. I am totally in this group because there's so many different fears when it comes to reaching out to people, whether that's your reputation or how other people will see you, how people will react if they'll say yes or no. There's so many different variables and different things that can happen. It's so unknown because you're kind of just throwing yourself out there and you're kind of exposing yourself in a way. Like you're saying, I'm a Christian, do you want to come to church with me? And sometimes that can be one of the scariest things. So I was reading in Mark and I found a couple verses about Jesus reaching out to other people, and I wanted to share it with you guys and talk about a couple different things of how we should copy it and be more like Christ in that way. So let's get started. So the spotlight verse, or the verse that we are mostly going to be basing this whole study off of, is Mark 2:13-17, and that reads, "Once again Jesus went out beside the lake. A large crowd came to him, and he began to teach them. As he walked along, he saw Levi, son of Alphaeus, sitting at the tax collector's booth. 'Follow me,' Jesus told him, and Levi got up and followed him. While Jesus was having dinner at Levi's house, many tax collectors and sinners were eating with him and his disciples, for there were many who followed him. When the teachers of the laws, who were Pharisees, saw him eating with sinners and tax collectors, he said to the disciples, 'Why does he eat with tax collectors and sinners?' On hearing this, Jesus said this to them, 'It is not the healthy who need a doctor, but the sick. I have not come to call the righteous, but the sinners.'" So there are three things that mainly pop out to me about Jesus' example in reaching out to other people. And the first one is that Jesus reached out to the people who were overlooked by society, the people that society already wrote off. If you didn't know, tax collectors in these times were not very good people. They would often take the money that the king or the emperor at the time needed for taxes, but also they would overtax and take some for themselves. So they were not very honest people, not very spiritual people. Mostly, they lived like really good lives while other people were being oppressed by taxes. And obviously everyone had to pay taxes, and not a lot of people were well off except tax collectors and the noble. So these people were not looked at very well by Pharisees or really anyone. The second thing that stood out to me is that Jesus did not care what the Pharisees or anyone, even his disciples, felt about him hanging out with the wrong crowd. And he was just like, I'm eating dinner with them. And, his reply is that, I'm here for the sick and I'm here to call the sinners, not the righteous. The righteous are already healthy. Why would you send a healthy person to the doctor? Like, you wouldn't. So, he's just like, these people need help too. So, if that makes me look bad or you think different of me, he's like, that's okay. I'm trying to help people. But really, he was teaching a hidden message of love and just, accepting everyone, because he was hanging out with people who were overlooked by society. They were already like condemned to hell in some people's viewpoints. So, he was reaching out to people that no one else would, and he was showing the love of God in that way. Because as Christians, when we reach out to people, we shouldn't be like the Pharisees, caring about our image more than we care about people. Because in Proverbs 29:25, Good News Translation says, "It is dangerous to be concerned with what others think of you, but if you trust in God, you are safe." Because if we are living our lives on what people think of us and we're deciding to maneuver and do things so then people won't think differently of us, it's not a very good life to live, and it is very dangerous because you can't please everyone. And at the end of the day, if you really think about it, you trying to people please everyone may cost somebody their salvation. I think it's worth it so then you can maybe see if somebody's seeking God, because it's their salvation, it's their life. It's like you're trying to condemn somebody to hell just because you want to sit at the cool table or have an extra 2 friends. It's just... So, you know, as saved people, we can't just hang out with saved people all the time. We can't just kind of bask in the, ha ha ha, I'm going to heaven, you're not, that sucks. You know, we need to actively be reaching out to other people and actively sharing the happiness that God has given us, not just keeping it to ourselves. And in Matthew 5:15-16 reads, "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on its stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and you glorify your Father in heaven." So like it's saying here, like if we kind of keep our salvation to ourselves in a way, like we are putting our light under a bowl or under a bed or just hiding it. Why would you want to hide it? You want to let it shine and let it impact other people's lives and then be like, wow, I want that. Wow, what does she have that I don't have? You know, it's just like we should be open and we should always kind of be sharing and always have like this overflow, not trying to hide it or only share it to people who are already healthy, because doctors are for the sick, not for the healthy. And if we're just helping healthy people, you know, no one's getting added to God's kingdom. If we're not reaching out to other people, then we can't even see if people are seeking God, because, you know, if they have ears, let them hear. It's just like, if they're seeking God and we're just kind of to ourselves or too afraid to reach out, it's just like they'll never get the opportunity to know God, even if they really don't know what they're seeking or what they want. They will never get the opportunity of God because we're too afraid, because we're trying to keep up a reputation, or we don't want them to say no, and we haven't even given them a chance to even make up their mind yet. Because in Psalms 14:2 it reads, "The Lord looks down from heaven on all mankind to see if there is anyone who understands and anyone who seeks God." Another scripture that says is that there are few workers, but if we keep on trying to reach out to people, eventually we'll reap harvest. It's the same thing here. God is looking down from heaven to see if there's anyone who wants to seek him and who wants to believe in him. And there are only so few workers. So if we're not even giving people the chance to listen to the word or come to church or even know that we're a Christian, we're not even giving them the chance to understand God or to seek God. Because obviously Jesus' example in this passage, Mark 2, it obviously says that he didn't care about people's thoughts of him. He didn't care about what people thought of him. He didn't care about how people would view him if they heard it. He was just like, I'm trying to save people. These people are sick. I'm calling people who are sinners. And if the righteous don't like that, if Pharisees don't like that, if people don't like that, that's on them. But I'm just trying to help people, and we should have the same heart and mentality. Like, we're just trying to help people. Well, thank you guys for watching this week's video. I hope you enjoyed. Like, subscribe, do whatever you do, and I will see you on Wednesday. Goodbye.